Australia's book industry says the threshold for GST on imports should be reduced to zero. Joel Becker is the CEO of the Australian Booksellers Association and he joins us now. Joel, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
This is something you've been lobbying for a long time, so the Treasurer's comments must be encouraging to you.
We were thrilled when he spoke at the Small Business Summit a couple of weeks ago and talked about going into a Lane Cove bookshop and having them charge 10% more because of the GST than going to Amazon. He just found that to be unfair.
How much are local booksellers disadvantaged in competing with the Amazons, the book depositories, which we all know are very popular with lots of Australians?
Well, there's a number of issues, but certainly the tax issue is a significant issue, particularly since exchange rates have changed. To have this kind of reverse protectionism, and we're not talking about protecting Australian businesses, we're saying that the offshore businesses in effect get a 10% protection, and it's terrific to see that this probably will be ending.
So if this move is made, what is in it for consumers who are currently enjoying lower prices if they buy online?
Well, what's in it for consumers is consumers also send their kids to local schools, if they're ill, to hospitals. These are having a shortfall in funding because the GST isn't there. So, and they're also protecting jobs within Australia. So on all those levels, the consumer gets protection at another level.
They might pay more for a book, but you're arguing they'll get increased services through higher GST
Well, they'll get
revenue.
the services that they've always gotten, but have started to shrink a bit because of that lack of revenue, which is estimated now at about $1 to $1.5 billion. But by 2020, I think Ernst & Young is saying that's going to be close to $2 billion.
The Treasurer says there are ways now of the big overseas retailers in whichever state in the United States, for instance, they're based paying the GST. But if I was to go online to say to Amazon, just to cite an example, buy a book for $30, pay GST on that, surely the compliance costs and all the admin costs would far outweigh the benefit to the government of reaping that 10%.
No, well, again, Ernst & Young, did a report for the Retail Council which showed that the cost is about 3%. This is not like the days when customs had to open a parcel, which was why it was set at $1,000. Now the technology has changed. It would be collected at the point of sale, the same way that it's collected here.
How have Australian-based bookstores been innovating to try to encourage more customers to come to them rather than online, given that you've been dealing with this issue for some years now?
Oh, look, I think one of the things is that there is a much stronger online presence. A lot of shops have gone to e-commerce. Certainly they use social media. They're altering their stock mixes. Just over 4 years ago, Nick Sherry said that in 5 years there'll be no bookshops left except for specialist bookshops in capital cities. Well, 4 years later, there are actually more than 1,000 bookshops. Since Angus & Robertson and Borders closed, there's actually been a small increase in the number of bookshops, minus those shops, of course, and we hope that that'll continue to perhaps slowly increase, but to continue to increase.
That's fantastic.
You're also seeing some bookshops diversify and have coffee shops and that kind of thing in there as well.
That's exactly right, in terms of their stock mix, and parents having book clubs, being very actively engaged in the community. And here I'm going to give a brief plug that on August 8th is our 5th National Bookshop Day, which is set on Saturday, so visit whatever bookshop is in your community and celebrate with us.
I'll do just that. What's selling, by the way? What's popular at the moment? What genre?
Look, of course, crime continues to sell, history. I'm enjoying a book called H is for Hawk by Helen MacDonald, which is a fascinating book about some falconry, which I never thought that I'd be interested in, but she makes it interesting.
Visit your local bookshop and find out more. Joel, thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me.